We are going back into a full tokenized vision like we've never seen before. That tokenized vision is going to happen mainly on Solana. And yeah, sure, Bitcoin's going to do well, but it's not. This is no longer driven by Bitcoin. We don't have a Bitcoin president. We have an AI and crypto president. Bitcoin's going to play a role in that, but we're not going to be a big down under blues. We're not going to be a Bitcoin pure maxi world. That world just doesn't exist.
Bitcoin is still valuable, but no longer the center of crypto's biggest breakthroughs. The real innovation is happening in faster, more advanced networks that offer real-world utility and explosive growth. That's the latest insight from Wall Street veteran and mathematician Fred Krueger. According to Krueger, crypto is evolving faster than most people realize. The days of Bitcoin being the sole focus are fading as tokenized assets, real-world applications, and decentralized finance take off. He believes Solana has pulled ahead, powering seamless transactions and attracting new users. More people than ever are engaging with DeFi, digital ownership, and instant payments. While Bitcoin remains a powerful store of value, Krueger sees the real momentum in the expanding world of tokenization, and it's only getting started. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video, as Fred Krueger breaks down the biggest shifts happening in crypto right now. Also guys, only a small percentage of my viewers subscribe. If you enjoy staying updated with finance content, consider subscribing or liking the video. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Here's Fred Krueger's latest take on where crypto is headed next.
If you go back to 2024, January, Solana and ETH were running about the same level of daily active addresses, daily active users, right? It's a proxy. And now, all of a sudden, Solana is running at almost 10 times ETH. That's an enormous move, 10x in a year. And, it's also running at, 5x Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's kind of trudging along at 800,000 transactions a day, which, by the way, I remember even back in 2018, it was sort of like doing 700,000 transactions a day. So the number of transactions is not increasing with Bitcoin. So despite all the hype about Lightning and everything, Bitcoin is not something that we're not doubling in terms of Bitcoin users in every 5 years or anything like that. We've got more Bitcoin users, but those Bitcoin users tend to buy and hold, and they don't do a lot with their Bitcoin. I'm one of them. I don't use most of my Bitcoin that much. I do try to use Bitcoin as much as I can. I try to pay people in Bitcoin. I try to orange pill people. It's a slow slog. So I just want to say, my biggest thing is I think that we're going to a world very quickly where if you walk into an average bar somewhere in city near you, you are going to see, and you ask, how many people have a phantom wallet? That's going to go from 1-2% right now, 2 people out of 100. It's going to go to like 50 people. We're going to start seeing this ubiquity of wallet. And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing, right? Because if you have the majority of people have a wallet, have a standard wallet that can take your token, well, then all kinds of things are possible, right? The restaurant can have its own coin. You can send some coins to the guy sitting next to you at the bar. You can pay the bartender a little tip with coins. You can do everything, right? And, people will say, well, I can use Visa. No, you're not going to tip the bartender with the Visa. I mean, you could, but it's not the infrastructure that we're looking for. That's not Web3. That's not the world where the internet finally has this extra thing that was missing from it all the time, which is value. That's the only thing that's missing from the internet, is a means of distributing value electronically, and I think we have to drop the religion that Bitcoin is the only solution to that. In fact, it's not the solution to that. Bitcoin is not going to be the solution to peer-to-peer payments. Satoshi couldn't, he's not like Harry Seldon in the book Asimov, where he can see the future for hundreds of years. Satoshi saw maybe 10 years, 5 years, 10 years. I think he got very freaked out with the whole Silk Road and CIA stuff. So, I don't even think he even saw that. So it's really hard to tell what the future is going to be. And I think, this was an attempt at building a very great peer-to-peer currency that couldn't be debased. It has turned into a store of value. I think that's great. I think it has massive upside still. But if you want to kind of actually live a little bit, and if you're young, you're not going to make your fortune by taking your savings of $5,000 and putting them into Bitcoin. That's not going to make you rich. It's a great investment for people who have some money, but it's not going to make you rich. If you're young and you want to make your mark, well, there's not a lot of stuff to do. What are you going to do? You're going to build another Bitcoin wallet? Okay, you're going to work on Lightning. There's very few and far between the options in Bitcoin. But, in something like Solana, there's tons of opportunity.
Krueger argues that while Bitcoin remains a strong investment, it's established itself as a store of value rather than a tool for everyday transactions, which limits its appeal to younger investors eager to build wealth or develop new applications. Bitcoin's transaction volume has remained relatively stagnant over the years, with most holders simply buying and storing it rather than using it for payments. Meanwhile, Solana's rapid adoption, near instant transactions, and minimal fees have created an environment where innovation can flourish. The ease of use in its ecosystem, supported by wallets like Phantom and platforms like Radium and Jupiter, allows businesses to experiment with tokenized economies in ways that were once impractical. As more people interact with Solana-based applications, the barriers to entry for crypto adoption continue to shrink, making it a far more dynamic and accessible space for developers and users alike. Do you agree with Krueger's perspective? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's return to Fred Krueger as he shares more insights.
None of this would have happened if Kamala Harris was elected. So the world changed on November 22nd, January 20th. The world has completely changed. And now we're in a world where laws are going to get rewritten. And more importantly, there's not going to be this enforcement layer. Now we have Hester Pierce, who actually is the voice of sanity at the SEC. And I actually look forward to what the SEC is going to say for the first time ever, right, on digital assets. I'm super, super bullish on this Solana-based ecosystem. While there are other coins, and other coins may benefit, you have SUI, these things might do okay. I believe that everything else is kind of a long shot at this point, including ETH. I think ETH is going to be, I really don't think ETH is going to make it as far as getting mass adoption at this point. I don't think it has anything to do with this hack. I definitely think the ETH is going to get flipped by Solana this year. I would say that better than 50-50 chance. So, I think if Solana goes to 650 right now at this current price of ETH, it flips. We're about a 3x. So I think that's a pretty good bet, pretty good risk return. There's a number of new Solana ETFs that are coming out. I wouldn't mind buying a Solana ETF with some money. I definitely want to have a position in Solana, 7-figure position in Solana. Getting Solana at 174 seems like a really great buy to me. And I think, I can see Solana getting to 1,000 this year. Bitcoin getting to 500,000 this year seems much more of a stretch. But, I'm kind of generally bullish, so I don't really want to do these kind of spread bets. I feel like that's kind of getting too complicated. I'd rather just own a little bit of Solana against my Bitcoin bags, I got a little bit too much in the pure Bitcoin house right now. So I wouldn't mind taking some of my Bitcoin, swapping it for Solana, and some of my other financial assets that are kind of in a different bucket, right? Stock assets, purchasing the ETF. So that I have to wait until the Solana ETF comes out. I'm convinced we are going to get the Solana ETF. I'm kind of a traditional investor guy, right? I got my eyes opened on Bitcoin because I met Tom Lee at this conference in Bermuda in 2019. I had owned some Bitcoin, but there was an orange peeling moment where I just was like, holy Fred, you're a f***ing idiot. You're a total retard putting like a big chunk of your net worth in Bitcoin. And there's a big chunk, but it's still a small chunk, right? Except now, I went up from 5K to 100K. So I 20X my Bitcoin. You put in a reasonable chunk and you hold on to it and it 20Xs and it becomes a big chunk of your net worth, right? So that's kind of my Bitcoin journey. But, with respect to Solana, I had all this kind of programming, maxi programming in my brain. And I'm still trying to deprogram the brain because I still think Bitcoin, parallel, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm not abandoning that, but I'm sort of saying I'm kind of at the sort of same level with Solana that I was with Bitcoin in 2019. I'm sort of Okay, Fred, I know you love Bitcoin. I know you love stocks. But you got to take, some percentage. And I don't know what that percentage probably should be, something like 10% in my view. I think that's probably what I want to do, is get to 10% of my crypto allocation to have it be Solana. And that's it. I don't need any other tokens, really. And I may have some little things here or there, but that's the bulk of the way I see the world is.
In other news, Franklin Templeton, one of the world's largest asset management firms, has officially entered the race to launch a spot Solana ETF, filing a proposal with the SEC to offer U.S. investors exposure to Sol. The firm plans to list the ETF on the CBO-BZX exchange, with Coinbase custody as custodian. This proposal is particularly interesting because it includes staking, meaning the fund could generate additional income by earning Solana staking rewards. This latest move from Franklin Templeton signals growing institutional interest in Solana. It also fits perfectly into what Fred Krueger has been saying. Solana is quickly becoming the blockchain that gets used. Ethereum still dominates in sheer market cap, but its high fees and clunky user experience have made it less practical for everyday transactions and applications. Meanwhile, Solana's daily active users have skyrocketed, and now larger firms like Franklin Templeton are taking notice. With regulatory pressure easing, especially after the SEC dropped its case against Coinbase, traditional finance is warming up to crypto. Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs were just the beginning. If a Solana ETF gets approved, it wouldn't just validate Solana's position in the market. It could be a major step toward mainstream adoption of tokenized assets and real-world crypto use cases. Anyway, guys, before we go, if you want to stay most up-to-date on the crypto and Bitcoin world, subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a concise resource for the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis, trusted by over 50,000 subscribers for insightful crypto investment information. Don't miss out on the opportunity to stay informed in the crypto market. The link is in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed today's video and that it gave you some value. I'll see you all at the next one. And as always, all the best.